Welcome, everyone. Let's get into this. We're reading little bits and parts of this book, Apprenticed to a Himalayan Master, a yogi's autobiography. Let's get into it. I'm just going to read little clips, little pieces, little parts, maybe a page here, a page there. It's going to be tons of fun. Let's do this. Join me. We're going to have fun. I'm going to comment on it. You can comment on it. I'm going to put my own perspective out there. Comment on it. You can comment on it. Let's do this. Let's get into it. All right. I think this is part 3. Part 3? Yeah. This is part 3. So let's do this. Y'all ready for this? You ready for this? Let's get into it. Part 3 of Apprenticed to a Himalayan Master, a yogi's autobiography by Sri M. He's amazing, and his book is amazing. Let's do this. Are you with me? An act which every able-bodied Muslim was expected to perform as part of his religious duties. The Tuck-Ali Saint excused himself from the pilgrimage, saying that he was blind and could not possibly go so far, but insisted that he had witnessed the pilgrimage and that Mecca was right there where he lived. This was blasphemy according to the Arab visitors, and they put it down to the ravings of a madman. But Pir Muhammad Sahib would not give up his claims. He ordered his disciple to bring the old clay water pot and requested the Arab visitors to look into the water one by one. Each beheld the whole scene of the pilgrimage to Mecca in the water pot, and, wonder of wonders, they saw themselves circumambulating the Kaaba, accompanied by the blind weaver saint. They fell at his feet and became his disciples. So that's interesting. Circumambulating. I heard the sacred stone at Mecca, the Islamic place, they circumambulate. You have like 1,000 people, and they just slowly walk around the sacred stone. It's their most sacred place for Islam. One very controversial thing I heard was that a long time ago, maybe 1,000 or 3,000 years before, was actually a Hindu site, and the stone was actually a Shiva lingam, and it was a Hindu temple, a Shiva temple, and they kind of it got destroyed and remade or whatever. That could be totally wrong. It might be false information, but it could be true. It's probably true, but who knows? Could be wrong. Very interesting, very controversial. I know that that whole area is completely off limit to archaeologists and scientists and geologists of any type. It's totally illegal to investigate. But that's common at religious sites. But interesting, though. I think it's probably a Shiva lingam, but who knows? It probably is an ancient one. Speaking of which, though, if you go even if to the temples in India, a lot of them, they're built on top of several other temples. There's like 2 or 3 temples below where they knock it down and build a new one. Sometimes different religions are there. Anyway, so it's a very common thing to build a temple onto another temple. It's any ancient culture. Well, a lot of their temples are like that. Where were we? Close to this saint's tomb as a grave of one of my paternal ancestors who was his disciple. Between the ages of 5 and 9, I was exposed to Hinduism and Christianity. Even at that age, I began to notice how prejudiced people belonging. My cat's moving, opening doors, which is totally fine. We shall continue. Because I can't reach over there. So we shall continue. They fell. Yeah. Where was I? I began to notice how prejudiced people belonging to one religion could be about other religions. For instance, my grandmother, who would go to ecstasy talking of Muslim saints, abhorred the Hindu religion and Hindu gods. She warned me to be careful about eating food in any of our Hindu neighbors' houses for fear that it might have been offered to the Hindu gods whom she considered to be unholy. She often referred to, I want to laugh, but I probably shouldn't. She often referred to Hindus as idolaters. All right, idolaters. And believed that the advent of Islam was the best thing that ever happened to mankind. I mean, I would question that ideal. Good Muslims were assured of a place in heaven. I would also question that idea. Put your comments below. Oh, my cat has a hairball. That's fine. I was sent to an elite English medium school run by nuns belonging to a certain order. Here we were not forced, but encouraged to cross our hearts when we passed the chapel of and the grotto of Virgin Mary, and were taught many Christian hymns, which is interesting. I loved the bearded, kind face of Jesus Christ as the shepherd depicted in pictures that hung all over the place, and was surprised to hear one of the nuns teach us that Muslims were sun worshippers and Hindus worshipped hobgoblins. Very cool. Our damn hobgoblin worshippers, sun worshippers, they're going to hell. Sorry. Our neighbors were all Hindus, and while visiting their houses, I was fascinated by the great variety of gods that they worshipped. I always wondered why a lady from an Orthodox Brahmin household was so fond of me and loved to feed me sweets. Whistled my grandmother forbade me from eating them, of course. Going to hell. Don't be eating them sweets, be going to hell. on the other hand, there were Hindu neighbors who looked forward to the tasty mutton biryani. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing words here. I'm sure I'll mispronounce many. You can put it in the comments or whatever. Which my mother made and distributed to our neighbors, our near neighbors, during Ramzan and Bakrid. As for myself, I longed for Delhi Sambra, and the traditional Malay vegetarian meals served on fresh banana leaves. Sounds good, whatever it is. Curious. Anyone out there tried these delicious dishes? And if you have, are they good? My first major contact with Hindu devotional practices, apart from the images and pictures of gods worshipped in little private shrines in our neighbors' houses, was a kirtan party. Oh, kirtan. So kirtan is one of those words, one of those key words where it's it's like a Hindu gathering where they sing hymns, kind of. It's like in Christianity, they gather at church once a week to sing hymns, right? And they all know the songs, or the words will be up on a projector, and they generally sing the same songs over and over and over again. They're hymns, right? Usually more contemporary, less old hymns. And kirtan is the kind of the same thing, but it's a Hindu version. And you'll have one kind of lead singer, and he'll sing a line, and then the crowd, or all the people going to the temple, will sing the same line over, and then he'll sing another new line, and then they'll sing that line over. So that's kirtan. It's how they do a lot of Hindu gatherings. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. I like it. Was a kirtan party which appeared unexpectedly on the road. Excuse me. On the road in front. Can you hear my neighbors stomping? On the road in front of our house. One Sunday morning, I was sitting near the kitchen trying unsuccessfully to put together a mechanical toy that I had dismantled to see how it worked. When the soul string rhythm vadishyami of the murdagam's beat, accompanied by the sweet tinkling of cymbals, sorry, completely overwhelmed my mind. I don't know what sound that is, or song, or melody, but he's saying it was good, and it overwhelmed him. Very cool. I was wearing shorts while my upper body was bare. I threw away the toy and ran towards the gate, my heart beating fast. A strange sight met my eyes. There were 4 middle-aged men singing and dancing on the road, all except one who wore yellow loincloths called 𝐀𝐿 wrapped around the lower part of their bodies. The exception was a tall, fair, and handsome man with a flowing beard and long hair and a garland of pure white flowers around his neck. He wore only a thin ochre kepin that barely covered his genitals and was otherwise bare-bodied. All 4 were barefoot. One had a midigram hanging from his neck, and as he drummed with both hands, eyes closed, he periodically broke into an ecstatic laughter. Ah, yes, the laugh. I find like real like spiritual people have they'll usually have a good laugh. If they have a good spiritual, like a deep spiritual practice, the more kind of their energies are working better, the more their chakras are really turned on, they'll have often have a really good laugh. Like, Sadhguru has like the funniest laugh. It's like full bodied, and he's like all the time laughing. I heard Buddha had a good laugh too, but who knows? That was thousands of years ago, right? I've totally lost my spot. Where was I? Laughter. Another seemed totally absorbed in playing a pair of cymbals and swung his head from side to side. The third one was walking from door to door, collecting fruit, vegetables, rice, and sometimes money, which was offered with great respect by some of our neighbors who stood at their gates. My neighbors are distracting me thoroughly. Smashing sounds. They're moving stuff. They're also just extremely noisy. I gotta give them shit again. Now, sorry. Now the fourth person, the tall, handsome, bearded man, seemed to be the leader of the group. He led the chorus as he danced and sang, Hari Ram, Hari Ram, to the beautiful rhythm of the meridagam and the cymbals. His eyes closed and tears streaming down his cheeks. He was in some kind of semi-conscious state. I saw some of the neighbors go close to him and prostrate at his feet. Prostrate means like bowing down, and in some cultures they bow down to in holy areas, temples and such, or images, idols, but also things in nature, sun, the moon, bodies of water, just everything really. Hindu culture, they bow to like literally everything. There's a god for everything, and it's like the 36 million faces of God, or 300 million faces of God, but I think there's still one god, Brahman, in their culture. I could be wrong. But yeah, full prostration means instead of just bowing, touching your head to the ground, it means you lay flat on the ground. It's like the next level to the next level. Yes. A strange happiness filled my heart, and I remembered that I too started laughing. Then I ran inside and finding a coin whose denomination I cannot remember now. Denomination. Ran back to the gate. Oh, we got some loud neighbors moving furnitures. Walked across the road to drop the coin into a small bag. The collector of offerings held in his hand. I was then that I heard my grandmother's voice calling me. It was then, as I hurried back, feeling guilty that I had perhaps done something that ought not to have been done. I turned around to take the last look at the strange, almost naked man dancing in the streets. His eyes opened and our gaze met for a brief moment before I was inside the house. I think we'll wrap it up there because my neighbors are way too distracting and noisy right now. So we're going to have to wrap it up. Next episode is episode 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, I think. If you got any value out of this, like and subscribe. Look forward to the next episode. Cheers. Bye.